Hello there. Welcome to November 10th, and we're going to get into the frequency of the day, the different energies that are going on, starting with our overall energy being as November 10th is, sorry, I moved my little notes down, is overall. So here are the energies involved in the 10th. We have the 11th from November. We have the 10th being the day. We have the 9, which is the year. We have this is day 314 out of 365, and we have 41 days left in the year. So that means we have a 5 energy on a minor vibration. We have an 8 energy on another vibration. We have a 3 energy on yet one more vibration. And then the main energy is that 11-2 that we saw yesterday. And you might see a constant theme as we go forward. Something from the day before is left over. So that means something that was started the day before is going to pick up. So let's say you started a conversation within your family about a new direction and you thought you had a conclusion to that conversation. Well, now you realize you don't exactly have a conclusion to that conversation. Perhaps you've decided that you want to move in a different direction with your career, and we'll talk about that in a little bit from the astrology standpoint. And now you have more conversations surrounded that. And this energy is actually 3 day lasting. So the conversations that you've had could have even started on Sunday because this is the energy of Monday, or Saturday. So you could have had the conversations going from Saturday, Sunday, and Monday before you get some sort of resolution to it. And it is also about the one, you, the individual, coming to terms with you, the individual, and who you are and how you relate to others. So when we speak of the endings that have to occur, and when we speak of the elevation and going to the next level that has to occur, all of that starts with the self. So part of this day is about self mastery, about taking back your freedom, taking back the power that you once thought you had, and then you thought you had lost it and regaining it. And some of that freedom is going to come from entrepreneurship. So some of you guys are really digging into the fact that you need to be exploring having your own, creating your own, and moving forward with that. So today could be about laying the plans for that, finally being like, hey, this is it. This is definitely where I'm going with this. Okay. Um, let's look at a little bit of something else that involving this energy. When we look at that 314 is an 8 energy, but again, the 8 energy we think of as money, is power, is success, is aggression, is action, is movement, is sex, is the occult, it's things of that nature, but pretty much the boss kind of energy. And but this boss kind of energy is made up of 3, 1, and 4. So it's not just the regular old 8. This is a energy of I need to be communicating, which this whole entire last 300, the 65 days from 300 to 365 definitely involves a lot of communication, definitely involves a lot of written communication, oral communication, writing out plans, writing out manifestations. What makes you happy? You spent the other parts of the year looking at things for other people and other relationships, and this is what's bringing you joy, the hobbies, the things that you might be able to turn into a business. So some of you might be good at crocheting and you might discover that can be a business. And then it is really taking a look at you and how you can focus on a particular thing and bring it to reality. So that's what that whole 8 energy is about. And if you have some talent that you've worked on a little bit here, a little bit there, perhaps you need to evaluate it. Perhaps you need to do a risk analysis and determine if you can actually put that into play. And if you do put it into play in your life, What does that look like? What does that take? Do you need more money? Can you do it with the funds that you have? All of those things. But in order for you to obtain that success, that power, that level of freedom that you're seeking, you're going to have to really do an evaluation of yourself and determine, do you have what it takes to go forward in that direction? And then give it your all. Let's look at the 11 in general, like this day. It's always about learning, elevating, going to the next direction, newness, creating partnerships. So again, that energy is about to surface today and tomorrow. And the other part of that 11 energy is who can go with you. If you're starting something new, you want to have the right people in your space. You want to have the right people backing you, providing information to you, providing support. So when you look at who can go with you, it's not just a matter of your immediate family or your immediate friends. Is, do the people that I have in my circle have anything to offer this new part of me, this new chapter in my life? For instance, if you have a business, do you need to partner with someone for their accounting services? Do you need to partner with someone for their marketing services? Do you need a personal assistant? There's lots of different little factors, right? Do you need a manager if you are a singer? Because another energy that is present, minor energy that's present, is the three. And three, of course, can be entertainers as well as the five can be entertainers and people with spoken word. So you might be doing more things in the creative arts, photography, music, dancing, any of those things. And you may need to partner with people in order to bring that into reality. So those that's the energy, a lot of energy of taking care of the home and a lot of energy of really being dedicated. There is a little bit of some emotional things going on, a little bit of insecurity. You may not have the confidence. Side note, you can get with me. I have a book that helps you with building your confidence. So some of you, although you have the skill, you may not believe in yourself. That's another thing that you have to work on. You might be afraid of what other people are going to say or how they're going to feel about you going in a different direction. Okay. Now, that's the numerology by itself. Let's go and look at some astrology. We're still considering some of the same nakshatra energy, which again, a lot of people in this energy are definitely into business expansions, but they're also into politics. And looking at these numbers being into politics, we have to look at the second house and more communication. The second house is also about food and nutrition. So definitely more communication about food and nutrition coming out today, and perhaps an ending to the stalemate that has caused the benefits not to be there. It definitely a power struggle and the release of money. So the release of monetary funds might be in the form of the SNAP benefits or some other monetary relief that sustains the person in the food, the mouth category because of that second house energy that's being impacted. Another thing is there's again, a lot of people dealing with the education and a lot of people saying, hey, I got to go back to school in order to obtain whatever it is that I want to obtain. I need some new skills. So a lot of you are going back to school, and some of you may be going back to school to deal with specifically the AI and the technology. That's right now energy shift that some of you have decided you need to go in that direction. And this is the time that you're going to be working on that. And let's look at some other energy here. There is we start the day as always with where the energy is. And the energy right now is that Leo energy as we start in the first position, the person. movement, right? But some of you are moving into unknown territory. So your life is shifting in a direction that although you know you want to go there or you might think you need to go there, you're not exactly sure what's going to happen once you go. The thing is that this energy is looking pretty good. So it's like, why not? Why not take a chance? Why not, at least go see how things could be? If things don't go the way you think they should go, there's always opportunity to move back into whatever it was you were into before. The day is also starting out with the third house being highlighted twice, and that means there's some energy that is put into communicating with people and actively communicating about it in writing per se. So news and letters and things that are coming up about the government, about balance, about love. So this could be in the form of someone reaching out to you and saying, hey, I have this person who is interested in working with you in the political space, or I have some news about a court case that you're involved in and it's been highlighted. The energy is being focused on that. There is some energy associated with the fourth house. So this, let me tell you the houses that have extra emphasis as the day start. Your first house, your third house, the fourth house, the seventh house, the eighth house, the 11th house, and the 12th house. So there's some energy in all of those houses when the day start, which means that there's going to be a focus there. So there's a focus towards your body, there's a focus towards your pleasures, there's a focus to, and there's a focus, a tiny bit of focus on short-term travel. There's a focus on your vehicle and whether or not it's sustainable. There's a focus on the home and explosiveness. There's actually some fires breaking out in some homes. That's happening. There's a focus on people being overly aggressive and determined to be in a relationship and coming to communicate. They're like saying, hey, this is what I want and expressing it. There's also a focus on some old things from the past coming up. Like it could be old relationships coming up. It could be old jobs coming up where somebody's reaching out to you, but it's something that you might feel is dead and done and over with because you might feel that the person was a little cold or the job didn't work out for you, but it requires you to actually evaluate it. Okay. Then there's another energy out there of you actually looking to see, well, what do I want to do as far as interacting with people? What type of people do I want to be around me? And some of those people right now, you might have determined that you just want to be around the people who are in your house, the people who make you feel like you're at home. And then, of course, there might be an expansive nature in the fact that you might be going to a university. Some of you, unfortunately, might be going to a hospital. Some of you might be getting released from prison if you have a prison sentence. That is something that's going on right now. Um, Overall, the day starts out as kind of a favorable day with all of those different energies that are at play because depends on where your actual placement of these things in your chart. So, for instance, if you have the Venus and the Sun together in the third house, and you actually have something else in that third house, as Venus and the Sun passes by it, that's going to draw more attention to that area as well, right? Say for some in your chart, you may have Jupiter in there. So it brings a lot of expansive attention to that house. So what if you are a person who has written a novel and you're trying to get your novel out there? Maybe there will be more people who are attracted to it. So we got to look at the energies for what they can do for you individually, as well as what they're doing in the world. So let's move this along here. As we continue along, as energy does, it shifts throughout the day. And when it does make it shift, you eventually will have that Sun and that Venus energy move into the second house, highlighting your career sector, highlighting some communication back and forth about in your career sector. And for those of you who are leaving your job, maybe that's what this is about. You having to have a conversation with someone that you work with about the fact that you're going to leave your job. There's also going to move into some energy related to a relationship with an older person or a person from your past that's showing back up at this time. Um, Mercury retrograde tends to bring things up from the past that you kind of need to close. Some of them, some of them you need to just make sure you look at it, evaluate it. It doesn't mean you have to live in the past. It just means that you can reflect on the lessons learned and put them to good use. Now, I know some of you might be like, well, maybe this is my chance. It could be, but the Mars energy is associated with the Mercury. And what that says is that it's just going to end up being more conflict. So, might not necessarily be the right relationship for you to get into and try to make work. It's okay for you to say, nice catching up with you, lose my number, right? It's okay to say that. It's okay for you not to really give that person a time of day, especially because there's some toxic energy that's associated for some of you. This person caused a sort of imprisonment for you, and that doesn't necessarily mean you went to jail. That could also mean that you were in a toxic relationship where you couldn't go anywhere, they were controlling, you didn't have friends. So it could definitely be multiple levels of imprisonment, and this person caused that for you, or they did not allow you to have the spiritual beliefs that you want because I see your intuition was impacted. So they may have made you feel that whatever you thought was not real. And so going back to them for what? Why? That wouldn't work for you. It wouldn't be good for you. Not advisable. Not good energy for that. Um, okay. And then there's some things that you guys want. This energy is showing up. Some of you are in more of like a competition with someone and that you consider to be as an enemy and you want to be victorious, but might not be going about it in the right way. You might need to just focus on not necessarily seeing the competitor, but making sure that whatever you're doing is top notch. It's the very best that it can be. And then perhaps your whatever it is will outshine theirs and outpace theirs. The entire day, there will end up being a shift a little bit later on in the day where everything comes to pretty much the first house. The Venus, the Sun would go into the first house. So Libra would be in the first house, which is all about you, your balance, and fair and just. Be very careful because there's another set of energy that's all aligned mainly to one side, which means that you as an individual is having to deal with opposing energies that impact your career sector. Things that are happening in the government are really impacting you directly a lot. Things that are happening with like your local police department are impacting you a lot. So I would say if you can stay home and rest and not really get into any trouble, this will be a good thing to do on this particular day so that you don't end up finding yourself restricted in your movements. There's also some information and desires coming out about the children and perhaps where you want them to go as far as school is concerned. So this could be younger children and what you want them to do as far as say you have a kindergarten and you want them to go to a very special school and getting them in that school or something to that effect. And that is being, and also there's health challenge that is impacting a child in your world, in your immediate circle. Um, you have to go back and revisit something that you thought was resolved in the child's health, and it's not. And you have to go back and revisit that. So let's move on. Venus is in a very good point. So this could indicate that you are really finding the beauty and appreciating who you are as a person and loving yourself from the inside out. You could see some value in who you are, which is good. And as we continue on the day, let's see if there's any other energy. So remember, all my readings are a 3-day cycle. So you can expect to hear the decline, the health decline of a person in a spiritual role. And this could either be a person that you just know in your home who holds a spiritual position, or it can be a person who is in a high position that the public knows of. Decline in health, not really good. That's internal disease that they're dealing with. And internal issue cause a decline in health for this individual. So let's move past that. Definitely some other health concerns towards the rest of the day. Woo! And then going to the afternoon, closer to the 1:30 area, um, that health issue shifts to that's a feminine kind of energy for sure. Definitely feminine type energy. And as intestinal organs issues right there. And some of you are going to realize that a person in your relationship is not being who they should be. And it's right now you have intuition, but you're going to get the actual details. The details will come probably later in the week, probably, or the next day, you'll get the details. But yeah, the partner, and this could not just, it doesn't have to be romantic. It can also be a partnership that you have with someone, like a business relationship or something to that effect. And this is towards the nighttime. It's not a good time for traveling. So at that point, you might want to consider being inside. And then let's see this one. See what else. So show some marriage trauma. And marriage trauma comes from multiple things. That could come from discovering that your person is having an affair, that could come from discovering that your person has a disease that they have to battle, or that they've been spending all the money. There's lots of different ways that you can have trauma because of marriage. Um, God, why is there heart attack energy here? It is what it is. There's just a bit of health concern. And my God, the energy by the end of the day just gets so chaotic. A lot of energy spread out a lot of different places, which means you need to focus on meditating and grounding yourself in order to deal with it. Because all the communication, everything coming regarding your partner, your work, your home, your family, your aunts, your uncles, I mean, aunts, actually, maternal aunts, because that's where the energy is. You got all of that information coming about all these different people can be a little bit overwhelming. Some of it's good news, and you want to hear good news. You want to hear about the person who's getting married, and you also want to hear about the person who's going to have a baby, the person who you did not know was having a baby, because that's showing up. So you want to hear that information, but sometimes it can be information overload. And if you're that empath, you might feel like, it's too much communicating with people, and that you need to just take a break and recover. Lots of energy everywhere by 5 o'clock. Be very careful when you're driving, um, because there is traffic issues showing up today. And you know what traffic issues mean. So you have to be careful. So, okay then. All right. I think that's the energy that we have. It's a lot of energy. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up, leave a comment, save it, come back to it, and let me know how much of this information resonated with you, how your day ended up. All right. See you on the next one. Bye.